Hey everybody, John here from No Joke NHL. It's Tuesday, February 5th. We're a little over 2 weeks into the hockey season, and I wanted to get a video here, of course, with the Super Bowl, Ravens Super Bowl over the weekend. Really just had too many things going on, craziness around not only my house, but the whole city. So I just kind of refrained from making the videos. And so back to doing this, and hopefully, like I said, I can do it as close to daily as I can, provided that we have a decent card. I mean, of course, Super Bowl Sunday and yesterday, only 9 games total between the 2 days, so not really much to talk about. Tonight, however, we do have a lot of good matchups, and I'm on 4 plays. I tweeted those out earlier, so hopefully we can give you some explanations as to where we came to those plays and what we're doing. So without further ado, let's get to the card. So Pittsburgh Penguins at the New York Islanders. Of course, these same Islanders came into Pittsburgh almost 2-1 underdogs and actually took it to the Pittsburgh Penguins last week. And so since then, of course, the Pittsburgh Penguins have taken on the Washington Capitals, throttled them pretty well on Super Bowl Sunday. And the Islanders, in the meantime, have actually suffered a little injury bug. They had a couple guys go out in their game over the weekend. And so tonight we have Nabokov, who has been outstanding for the Islanders so far this year. And certainly Islanders have exceeded expectations, not only that win against Pittsburgh, but they've certainly played some other teams tough as well. We have Pittsburgh on New York Islander ice at -140, come back on the Islanders at +120. And I really like the Penguins here to, set the record straight. I think they were kind of embarrassed by that loss to the Islanders 4-1 the other night, and so I'm looking for a top tier effort from them. I played them on the puck line tonight at +210. Put that in this morning. It's probably in the neighborhood of +200. Hopefully you can get that. Hopefully it didn't drop down to 190. But I'm definitely on the Pittsburgh puck line, like I said, to set the record straight after that embarrassing loss on Pittsburgh ice to the Islanders last week. New York Rangers at the New Jersey Devils, always an excellent matchup. We have Brodeur confirmed for New Jersey, Lundqvist not confirmed as of yet, as of this taping. We have the Rangers as a slight favorite here, -115 to -105 comeback on the Devils. And the Devils actually have owned the recent season series between these two teams. However, if you look at the way both these teams have been played, of course, the Devils in a tough spot win on Super Bowl Sunday against those same New York Islanders, actually the game where one of the Islanders was hurt. And so they played an excellent game on Super Bowl Sunday. However, the Rangers have really had a tough schedule, tough sledding so far. They faced 3 of the top tier teams in the East, or at least what were considered the top tier teams of the East before the season started: Pittsburgh, Boston, and Philadelphia. They faced those teams in their first 6 games, and handled it pretty well, a little under 500. And they've since turned it around, won like 4 of their last 5. So Rangers putting it together, utilizing Rick Nash, who's tremendous offense. I mean, he's just using his size and skating ability, and it's just offensive savvy. It really helped this team out, and I really see him getting nothing but better as the season goes on. I didn't take the Rangers on the money line here or the puck line, usually not a good -1.5 team, but I did take him in regulation at +148. Which I believe is a solid play here. So that was one of the plays I tweeted out as well, and I'm definitely looking forward for the Rangers to give us a top effort tonight. Los Angeles Kings at the Columbus Blue Jackets, and we have Los Angeles -135 to -150 favorites. Kings were a -120 favorite last night. Some sharp people on Twitter, Creature, Rob Pizzola, a couple of those people jumped on the Kings last night at -120. I didn't. I was kind of waiting for the puck line or some alternative lines to come out today. So we got that. So I decided to jump on Los Angeles -1.5 at +200. We're getting Mason in net for Columbus. Mike Quick is not confirmed for the Kings as of yet, but I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be him in net tonight. And so I look for a very decent effort from the Kings, especially against the backup Mason, who is definitely a step down from Bobrovsky. Toronto Maple Leafs at the Capitals, and both goalies confirmed here. Scrivens at Neuver, and we have the Capitals as a -150, -165. I printed this sheet out in the morning, so some of these lines have moved a little bit. come back on Toronto at plus 130. Capitals up and down. I mean, they played pretty solid against Pittsburgh. Of course, Pittsburgh's offense is too much. They went with Holtby in that game, who again gave up a ton of goals. So we're back to Neuver, who has played a little more consistently, but he certainly hasn't done it in the win column, and so can't really back the Capitals. Toronto, of course, playing yesterday, so not really going to jump in line to take Scrivens on a second of a back-to-back here, but definitely the Capitals too inconsistent to jump on them against Toronto as well. So definitely a pass game if I've ever seen one for me. Buffalo at Ottawa. Miller not confirmed for Buffalo. Anderson is confirmed for Ottawa. Ottawa on home ice, minus 140, minus 150 favorite. Come back on Buffalo at plus 120, plus 130, depending on where you're shopping. And I look for Ottawa to take care of business here, although Ottawa's going through some type of offensive slump. They've really only put 3 goals on the board in their last 2 games combined, and that's not really a way you're going to win many hockey games unless you're scoring at least 2 to 3 goals per game. You're definitely selling yourself short. So I'm gonna sit this one out and watch and see what happens with Ottawa. I mean, they certainly have a lot of weapons, and Anderson has been playing outstanding as well, because those games were 1-goal games that they lost, where they scored the 3 goals in 2 games. So Anderson's certainly not giving the games away. As well. So hopefully they can get their offense squared away, but I'm certainly not going to pay to see if tonight is the night that they do that. Tampa Bay Lightning at the Philadelphia Flyers. And we have Flyers a minus 120 favorite on home ice. Come back on Tampa at even. We have Lindbach versus Brizgalov. These are 2 confirmed goalies. Again, Flyers playing inconsistent. They've gotten some players back. Danny Briere is now back in the lineup. Of course, but Wayne Simmons went out against the Capitals last week with a concussion. Scotty Hartnell's still out. So Flyers definitely with the injury bug hitting them hard this year. So I'm going to kind of lay off this, although I kind of look for Tampa Bay to regress to the mean. There's been some chatter like that on Twitter. I kind of have to agree with that. They've just been scoring a whole bunch of goals. They had 38 goals in 7 games before they lost 3-2 against the Rangers over the weekend. And, of course, they can't keep up that torrid scoring pace, although the Flyers certainly have been known to let some goals in the net. So this might be a decent game to take Tampa Bay, but I'm probably going to lay off this. Maybe actually in looking at this and right off the top of my head, this game may qualify as one of those games to maybe back both teams at minus 1.5, since they both have free skating styles and don't play defense as much as teams should. So that may be a good game for the puck line experiment, where we lay minus 1.5 both ways, and the only way we lose is if it's a 1-goal game with both of those. That game certainly fits that model to a T here. Calgary Flames at the Detroit Red Wings. Red Wings a minus 170 favorite on home ice. Comeback on Calgary at plus 150. Definitely a game I'm not going to really get in line to play. Red Wings should be able to take care of business on home ice. However, to plunk down at minus 170, or to take them on the puck line at minus 1.5, plus 180, certainly not something in the realm of possibilities that I would do today. There's a lot of other games on the board that I like as well. Calgary probably a little bit of value here, but then again, I mean, we really don't know what effort we're going to get from Calgary, especially on the road. This is Kiprusoff versus Howard. Both of those are confirmed as well, so we're going to get the 2 top goalies here. So, like I said, Detroit should take care of business, but definite pass for me. Florida Panthers at the Winnipeg Jets. And we have Winnipeg Jets at minus 160, come back on Florida at plus 140. Both goalies unconfirmed as of this taping. So Winnipeg, again, should be able to take care of business on home ice. Certainly not going to get in line to pay minus 160 to see if tonight's the night they're really going to do that. Florida, of course, is really kind of unplayable for me. Definitely some offensive woes, and certainly couldn't back them at plus 140 or less than plus 150 for sure. Nashville Predators at the St. Louis Blues. This is their 3rd meeting between these 2 teams. The Blues have taken the first 2 meetings, one on home ice where they won a little more convincingly, and then one on the road where Nashville, they went to overtime, or maybe I got those mixed up, but basically they played an overtime game and then one where the Blues won in regulation. We have Elliott in net tonight. Pecorine likely for Nashville, but he's not been named the official starter. And we have the Blues, a prohibitive minus 175 favor with the comeback at 155 on the Preds. Predators, of course, beat San Jose, gave them their first loss of the season in overtime in a shootout. And so Predators can certainly play, but again, I'm not going to really take them against a team as formidable as the Blues. The Blues have looked really impressive, and they should be able to take care of business here again on home ice. But for the Nashville backers, hopefully the money will come in on St. Louis for you, and you can wait until game time and probably get on them at about 160, 170, depending on if the money comes in for St. Louis. But I'm certainly going to sit on the sidelines here. And then finally, the last matchup, an excellent matchup, Chicago Blackhawks at the San Jose Sharks. I've had this one circled for a while. Sharks, of course, playing on the second day of a back-to-back. They just lost in regulation for the first time last night to the Ducks after taking a 1-0 lead into the third period. They give up 2 goals to the Ducks. Ducks couldn't, of course, get an empty netter at the end of the game to cover my puck line, but oh well. I had a little bit on the money line as well, but definitely more on the puck line, so not as great a result as I was looking for, but the Ducks certainly beat the Sharks last night, and the Blackhawks rested from a game on Saturday where they took on the Calgary Flames and won that game in a shootout after Marian Hossa scores a game-tying goal with 2 seconds left, and then they win the game in a shootout. So I'm looking for Chicago to put, give us a top effort here. Both these, but like I said, 2 top teams in the West, 2 top teams in hockey for that matter. We're definitely going to get Crawford here. Niemi not named the official starter, but they went with Grace last night in Anaheim, and I'm almost 100% sure we're going to see Niemi here, for a top effort out of the Sharks. But like I said, with the Blackhawks rested a little bit and the Sharks playing last night, I'm going to give the slight edge to Chicago here. Chicago is even on the money line. Sharks are a slight favorite here. It's been bouncing back and forth all morning with the money here. I took Chicago to win in regulation at plus 168, and I also backed them at minus 1.5, plus 280. If your book can't do that, then you wouldn't be able to make that bet. A lot of people contact me, should I take this or take an alternative play? And to be honest with you, I'm not really going to recommend taking alternative play because, the value is just not there. I mean, taking the Blackhawks at even on San Jose ice to win the game outright, may seem like a safe bet if I'm willing to lay minus 1.5, but part of my particular betting style is I like to take the chances and put myself out there at plus 280 because when that stuff happens, it's just explodes your bankroll. So if I'm just betting even on the Blackhawks here and they win, yes, it's a win and I cash the ticket, but I'm certainly not getting that that big chunk of return in my bankroll, which to me is the reason why I stay there. Of course, my record, I'm about 6 games under 500, so I'm definitely not. When I handicap, I certainly don't handicap looking to win 60% of my games. I mean, I wish I could because wow, with laying a puck line would be outstanding, but that's not the case with what we do. So pass these videos around, tell everybody No Joke NHL, and let's keep making some money.